And we are green. We are leading in the Aston Martin. Zilla in the Mustang running second. Kalos in third. As we see the rest of the group coming through, we have a three-wide battle. Drewski, Turk, Weedman. Three different cars. Camaro, McLaren, Corvette. Making our way through the first corner. No one goes off track. We all managed to keep it on the green, off the green stuff, which you really want to avoid because it is light rain here at Suzuka. So you need to be very, very cautious with your lines. It's very easy with this aero wash to get off the track, and once you get one of those wheels off, you are going to continue to go off. It is very difficult at this track to keep it on the road. As we come through, we're finishing up the first sector of the S's, making our way down and able to hold off so far and making a nice clean start. So now we're up to the front of the grid. We have Zilla right behind me in the Aston Martin. He gets a very good run. I push a little bit wide with the aero wash behind us as Zilla is getting very, very close, and I get on the brakes a little bit too hard. I lock him up a little bit and push wide. That allows Zilla to go to the inside. He's going to be side by side with me, and he's going to be able to finish this pass if he gets the power down, but we fight back around the outside. The Aston Martin's got some pretty good acceleration. And it's got very good rear grip. We are able to put that power down even with some of the aero washes. We take a very aggressive line into here, making another long sweep as we make our way down to 130R with that Mustang right in our draft. We want to try to get a good run, but he's able to stay with us right there as he's looking to peek out maybe before. I think he thinks better of it. He's going to get back in behind, going side by side through 130R. A little bit questionable and sketchy sometimes. Sometimes people try to make it work, but right there you can see I go wide lap one. It actually gives me a 0.5 second penalty, which is a really big shame because I really didn't gain much time there. And right now we're battling side by side with Kalos as the Mustang gets a very good run out of the last corner. So we started on pole. Now we are dropping down possibly to third place. The Aston Martin there is Grim, our teammate, and behind him is another Mustang that we are going to have to be competing with here. And as you can see right behind, Turk is catching up in that McLaren as his teammate Kalos goes wide in turn one. In turn one, when you have that aero wash, when you did not have it the lap before, it is incredibly sketchy. So now we have our teammate, the Aston Martin of Grim Racer, right behind us. Unfortunately, it doesn't show the rear wings of the Aston Martins on these cars. Bit of a shame. I don't know why it's not showing Kalos's rear wing, but it does show Turk's. This game is interesting at times. As we go through side by side, we let Grim go by, but he pushes a little bit wide on exit, so I'm like, I'm just going to kind of go back by. So we do a nice little swip swap there. Coming down into this right-hander, I really did not feel comfortable in this corner the whole entire race. This was the one I really just kind of made sure I didn't drive off the track. Same thing with this hairpin here, just trying to avoid any of these mistakes. As we make our way through, we have to try and catch back up to Zilla in that Mustang. We get a little bit of a bump from our teammate from behind, but it's all good. And we are going to try to get back into that draft of the Mustang. Right now we are battling side by side with our teammate. Kalos right behind in the McLaren, and then we have another Mustang right behind with Turk and Weedman closely followed behind. So right now we're trying as hard as we can to close this gap back up to that Mustang, but he's able to keep the line clear. As long as we stay out of that 7/10 range, he's probably going to be able to maintain that gap as we keep fighting. So Grim right behind us as we are approaching 130R. I already am dreading this because the aero wash on these cars is very, very strong as we turn into the corner. Able to somewhat make it. We have to lift a little bit on exit as he closes back up before the brake zone. But this time we have a clear run through the corner. He takes a different line from us, so he allows us actually to get a little bit more air on the car and not have to deal with that Forza aero wash special. Now we're catching back up to Zilla just a little bit. As you see, the entire field is still able to be seen on the front stretch. Still, after 2 laps of close racing in these conditions, we still have everyone there. But some bad news as Kalos, as he makes an attempt for third place, as Grim goes wide, the exact same thing that happened to Kalos the lap before. Kalos does not have enough fuel in his car, which is unfortunate. As he tries to make his way back through the field. He knows he is going to have to make a pit stop, which is a shame. He was running very, very well in the McLaren. But as you can see, there's some cars lurking behind, and that's bringing the field closer together as we're trying to catch up to Zilla. I'm thinking if I can get up there and maybe work with him, we can maybe get away from the pack behind us. But they're also running some pretty quick times as well, and Kalos is also catching up to Zilla. So right now, the Aston Martin and the McLaren are both going to be catching the leader as we get a very good run through that corner, and Zilla makes a little bit of a mistake. We are catching up, and we're going to attempt to get a very good run out of this corner, setting it up nicely, getting down onto those curbs, try to get a good exit, and maybe make a move on that Mustang as he tries to put the power down and gets the wheels a little bit sideways. Kalos gets a much better run through that section of corners than we do, and he is already right back on the rear end of our car as we're trying to just get into the draft of that Mustang, hoping we can at least get something to help keep that McLaren behind us. So once again, we take a very aggressive line into here, and we are trying to get a nice run on the exit as we get a bit of a gap away from Kalos. We are in the draft of the Mustang again, and now we're back up to it, but we also pulled this whole group up with us, so we have to now contest with not only just Zilla and Kalos, but the two cars behind of the Mustang and the Aston Martin. But don't count out that second pack back there. They also had some speed as Zilla makes a little bit of a mistake and goes wide. We are right on the rear bumper as we're going to attempt to make a move on this Mustang. Right away, we're sitting there in the draft, catching up, and can we make a move into turn one? As you can see, there's still all the cars can be seen on the front stretch. We make a little bit of a lunge to the inside. Are we going to be able to make it stick? We take that low line through and we complete that pass. Little bit of aero wash as Zilla looks to make a move on the corner exit, but we get the power down just enough to make a little bit of an escape. Now we just have to really focus on hitting the lines as best we can, even with that aero wash. No matter what, it's going to be very difficult to pull away when you have a car right behind you like this. It just pushes you wide, makes you loose. It's just not fun. You don't have any rear grip. So right now we are pushing as hard as we can. One thing you can do to mitigate that is running less aero. If you run less aero on your car, you will have less aero wash. But in these conditions, you might want a little bit of that aero as we're trying to come through right here, especially in this corner. As you can see, I'm completely sideways through there. Right here, we try and get as low as we can, really cut that apex as we get a better run than Zilla, but I haven't been too confident in this section of corners the whole race, and I definitely feel like I've been leaving time on the table. As you can see, he caught up to me a little bit in the brake zone, and he's got a little bit better exit there. I'm trying to figure out this section of corners. I did manage to qualify on pole, but that section of the track, I was not fast. And one thing I've noticed about this Aston Martin is it is very, very tricky in the very, very slow corners. It's good virtually everywhere else, but in the really, really slow corners, it feels like it just doesn't have the turning radius. As we make another good move through the first part of that corner, but he gets really, really close behind us. He's giving us that aero wash again. He is pretty darn close, so we're definitely worried about what's going to happen with 130R. Don't want to get another penalty by going off the track here. So we're holding our line as best we can, staying on the left side. Try to stay low, but we push wide again, so we have to lift on the exit. He goes to the outside. As we go into the brake zone, we try to turn in, and we get a little bit of aero wash. No, not a little bit of aero wash. We get a little bit of Forza glue, and it puts us off the track. We drop down 4 positions. Kalos takes the lead, but there you see Kalos having to pit. So now we're behind our teammate in Grim, and there's Turk right behind us in the McLaren as we're catching up to Grim up in front of us. We have to worry about the cars behind again. As you see, Turk and Weedman in the Corvette are catching up very, very quickly as we make our way through the first section of corners. It is a Mustang 1-2, an Aston Martin 3-4, McLaren P5, and a Corvette in P6. So now we're just kind of regrouping after a little bit of that contact. It just sent us wide. It was just unfortunate Forza glue. It happens. Forza's Forza. So we're catching back up to Grim here as we're also now pulling along this McLaren and this Corvette. We have to worry about the new cars that have been introduced into this fight. I really don't know how the cars are balanced too much. We're just going to watch this for the next couple laps and watch it play out as this fight continues. We are approaching the last lap here as Turk is staying in our draft, giving us that aero wash, following all the way up to turn 1. We got a great run out of the last corner, and he's not going to be able to make anything work on this lap into turn 1. This is the last lap. This is his last chance. He's either got to force me into a penalty. He has a slightly larger one than I do, as we almost push wide in turn 1, but it gives us a better line on the exit as we struggle to put the power down. Get a little bit loose, as you can see the engine backfiring towards his car. He is getting close enough to where the backfire from my car is melting the headlights of his car behind. That McLaren is definitely getting nice and toasty on those air vents driving this close behind, but Forza, it doesn't matter. So he's sitting right close behind. We're getting that aero wash, struggling to put the power down, but we're able to hold our line the best we can. It is very, very slick out here already, so even with the less grip, we try and we get a good run through that section. That was one of the first times I got a good run there, and I'm just praying I can get a good run down here in this long, slow sweeper. We've been struggling the entire race in these super tight, slow corners. I just do not feel like I have the turning radius as we go wide again, but we were able to pinch the exit enough to where he couldn't get that run. Didn't allow him to make that move, so now he's only got really one good shot left, and that is down into the hairpin, or pushing me wide and getting a penalty in 130R. That is the biggest worry, as we get another good run through the first part of this corner. This section I felt super confident in the entire race. On the exit though, struggling to put that power down again, but we get a nice run and we're able to maintain a little bit of a gap. Turk's probably not going to go for it in 130R. Probably too risky, but he's going to sit nice and tucked in behind us. Super close. He's going to get a better, with a more planted rear end. Is he going to be able to make this move around the outside? He's trying to make that move. We brake as late as we can. He doesn't have the room. We take the middle of the track. We get a good exit. He is in the draft. Is he going to be able to make the move before we get to the line? But we get the power down really well. Turk sits in the draft, and is he going to be able to make the pass? No, he is not. We are going to be able to take the victory in the sprint race. Thank you guys for watching. Tomorrow I will have up the endurance race that followed this with a reverse grid, and man, oh man, I don't know how we got the finish we did, but we made it happen. I'll see you guys for the next one, and if you guys have any videos that you would like for me to commentate on, if you guys have any replays from Forza that are saved, ACC, anything like that, I want to do this more. So if you guys want to hop into the Discord and post a link to those views, or just tell me what to search for on the replay files, let me know, because I'd love to do this more. I kind of enjoy it, and I kind of want to get better at it. So if you give me guys some examples, I'd love to read them out for you guys. So thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, please leave a like and subscribe so I know I can do more of these for you. But yeah, share your replays with me, and I'd love to commentate for them, just like we did with the Trey video right here in the bottom.